What's up, everybody? My name is JT, and I do have multiple sclerosis. And what I want to do in this video is tell you how I got diagnosed. So, when I did get diagnosed, I was 34 years old. Right now, I am 46 years old, so I have been battling this disease for 13 years now. The first symptom that I had was drilling out of the side of my mouth. I was at the gym at that time, and my buddy next to me said, "Hey dude, you're drilling everywhere." So I looked down and my shirt was wet. It was covered. And so I grabbed some paper towels and I wiped it off. So the next day I'm at home and I noticed that I was kind of slurring my speech like I am now. I have it, it's daily, it comes and goes, but today I am slurring really bad. Sorry if you can't understand me. But anyway, I started really slurring. I didn't understand what was going on. So the next day, I just couldn't think. I couldn't even complete a sentence. While this was going on, my dad had stage 4 cancer of the throat, and I was taking care of him. I couldn't express to him how I felt. I couldn't even write a sentence down on a piece of paper. It was really frustrating. I wanted to bang my head against the wall. Then I started experiencing black spaces in my eyesight, my vision, like I was going blind. It was very scary. So, I go to the emergency room. They check me out. I guess they thought I was messed up on some kind of drug or something. Then they just sent me home. I went home for a couple of days. It got worse. And I went back to the emergency room. They did the same thing and sent me home again. And I couldn't do anything about it. So the next day, I went back to the emergency room and they realized something was really wrong with me and they set me up with a doctor's appointment at some clinic. I went to the doctor's appointment and she told me I was having a stroke. She called the hospital and told them that I was on my way up there and all my symptoms, and when I got to the hospital, they admitted me. So at this point, I blacked out, kind of, I don't know, days went by. They did so many tests on me. They gave me an MRI and found a spot on my brain. And after that, they gave me a spinal tap. And about a day later, they told me I had multiple sclerosis. So they started giving me bags full of steroids. I was in the hospital for about a month, and they it got a lot better. All my symptoms started going away. Of course, the speech was still slurred. My mind was still it was boggled. I couldn't really think that well, but they did let me go home. So they gave me a script of dexamethasone or something like that. I had to take 6 at a time for 5 days. About 2 days later, I remember me and my father went to Sonic and got some ice cream. When we came home, I was eating my ice cream and my stomach started burning really bad. Like to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. I called an ambulance. They put me in an ambulance. We was in the ride. I remember, and once again, my mind was not clear, but I do remember them telling me, if I would have waited 30 minutes later, I would be dead. I didn't know what was going on, but they were giving me painkillers. So we got to the hospital. I didn't know what was going on. They put me to sleep. They sliced my stomach wide open, and come to find out I had a perforated ulcer. And that ulcer was from all the steroids that they were giving me. So after they patched my stomach up, they sent me home. And my timeline is kind of messed up. It's very hazy. But I remember my hip started hurting really bad. So I go back to the hospital. Found out that I had a vascular necrosis of my hip. They had to do surgery to take my hip out. My hip was infected. I had MRSA, and I had that for about 10 months. And you gotta understand, I'm leaving a lot of stuff out here because with the stomach issue, they put a hose down my nose, down to my stomach to get all the bile out. But fast forward to the hip issue, I was on a walker for 10 months. At that time, I had to have a PICC line in my arm to use the antibiotics to kill the infection in my hip. So after 10 months, they tried to put a hip replacement in, but unfortunately they couldn't because I was bleeding out on the operation table. 4 weeks later, they finally successfully put a hip replacement in. So I had that hip replacement in for about 1 year, and at this time I had moved to Oregon with my girlfriend. Well, one day I noticed that I had on the incision from the hip replacement, I had little bubbles popping up. I went to the hospital and they tried to drain my hip and they found a suture inside. And they did lab work and come to find out I had an infection once again. They took the hip out. I had spacers in again and had to be walking on a walker for 4 months. So that 4 months passes by and it was really slow, and they put another hip in and this also was successful, and that's the hip I have in right now. And that was in 2015 when they put this in, and it's given me problems for the last year. It's been hurting really bad. So after they put the hip in, my girlfriend and I broke up and I moved back to Texas where I am now. I have relapsed about 2 years ago. Went in the hospital for about a month and they gave me more steroids, and I haven't really had any problems lately other than the hip pain. I know I've lost a lot of intelligence. I can't articulate my words like I used to, and I mean, steroids is the only thing that helps MS, and but steroids are bad, okay? Well, that's my story. And like I said, I've left a lot of stuff out because really I can't remember a lot. I will be posting little vlogs of stuff that has been happening to me. And if you do have MS, all you can do is fight. Fight, fight, fight. And trust in God. Have faith. God is good. Thanks everybody for watching. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. Please subscribe. Leave a comment. I definitely will reply to you. Thank you and have a great